This is A Better Way Financial, the podcast with financial advisors and father-son team Frank and Frankie Guida.
And I'm Heather Branch here with Frank and Frankie asking for their ideas on ways to better prepare for your financial future. ABetterWayFinancial.com is where you can go to start your conversation with the entire team. We also have links posted in the show notes, so you can just click there or, again, find us anytime at ABetterWayFinancial.com. In the meantime, fellas, summertime is here. It is June. We were actually talking in previous conversations about the water volleyball fights that ensue. Frank, did you survive the Memorial Day volleyball tournament? No broken noses, spiking the ball.
It's not easy.
The competitive
then the arms
nature.
get sore.
It's good for you. It's good for you. It's time to get into summer activities. And then, of course, there's all the summer travel that we like to get to. So hopefully you'll be enjoying some of that. But when it comes to the traveling that you hope to do in your retirement, of course, we got to have the funds rise up to meet us. What's interesting, guys, the number one fear in retirement is, of course, running out of money. Things never change in that space. Mm-hmm. However, what's really interesting is there's this tool to help remedy that problem. And yet it's the one area that we know the least about. So I want to talk to you guys about further educating ourselves on our income options in retirement. We're going to get to that a little bit later this half hour. But first, let's start with one of your favorites. Well, I should say your favorite thing to hate. Your most favorite thing to loathe in life. And I think you're, in agreement with most people when we talk about taxes.
Taxes. Everybody hates taxes.
Yeah, we could all come together on that one.
That's the one thing, no matter what side of the political aisle you might be on, we can all agree upon.
Oh, yeah. We ask people in our workshops, does anybody feel like they've already paid their fair share? Every hand goes up.
Especially when you have spent 20 or 30 years, maybe 40 years in the working world, and you watch some of your paycheck go to the government every single time. Yeah. By the time you get to this phase of life, you are feeling about finished. However, the Biden administration is proposing new taxes. However, they're saying, don't worry, it's only on the wealthiest of Americans.
Famous last line.
We're going to read his lips.
Right. So, case in point, if you, dear listener, living in this healthy middle-class world that we live in, if you think that you're going to be spared, consider this from one social media contributor who goes by the name The Older Millennial. Here is what he had to say about the history of our taxes.
The original income tax was the wealthiest 1% of Americans had to pay a 1% tax on their income. And of course, it passed easily. Everybody was in favor of it. Even most of the 1% didn't oppose it. But now the average American pays anywhere from 27 to 50% of their income in taxes. Guys, there has never been a tax that has been instituted by the government on the wealthiest 1% that has not grown to encompass everyone in America. Because that's the hard part for the government, passing a new tax. But once they get the American people to agree to that tax, well, then they have the authority to just raise it as time goes on.
Does this not sound like a very typical political story that we Americans have faced when it comes to tax laws? So thinking about effective tax planning, guys, the thing that's very important, obviously, for you to work on with every person that comes into the office, tax planning before and during retirement. And of course, historically speaking, thinking about new tax rates, do they tend to trickle down to lower income levels? How do we begin to tackle all of this?
Yeah, so this is something that they're happy to get the foot in the door. Once they got the yes, okay, We're moving forward with the taxes. All right, let's do the rest of the stuff that we wanted to do.
What's the expression, give a man an inch and he'll go a mile?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, exactly what they're trying to do here. They're trying to say, well, let's approve these taxes, and let's just say it's going to affect the wealthiest of Americans, and then we're going to make changes after it goes through.
Yep.
So we don't want to open that door.
Right.
We don't want to have those taxes start, right?
Yeah, look what they did with Social Security, right, Frankie?
This is something that we've seen in the past. When Social Security got started, the first time that they put taxes on it, during the Reagan administration, they said, well, up to 50% can get taxed, but that's only going to be on the wealthiest of Americans, guys. Mm-hmm. That's how it's going to be. That's how he set it up. The problem with that is that number, that income level that was at 70s, 80s, a long time ago, that's never been adjusted for inflation. So over the past 50 years, that number has never gone up. They adjust all the other numbers for inflation, but that Social Security number, they have not once adjusted that for inflation.
Got it.
The only adjustment they made was when Bill Clinton added it, oh, well, now you can go up to 85% of your Social Security can be taxed. That was the only change, and it wasn't for the better.
No.
Got it. Got
You know,
it.
so this is something that once they get you in the door, once they say, okay, yes, let's approve of these taxes on the extremely wealthy, it's not going to affect me at all. It ends up somehow affecting you.
Yeah, absolutely. And look at what Biden's saying now. He's saying, you know what? We're going to tax the corporations. To me, that just is mind-blowing that some people get excited about that and they think that's a good thing. I mean, think about it. What does a corporation do if they're taxed higher? What do they have to do? They have to raise their prices.
The prices, yep.
So who is paying that tax? All of us.
Yeah.
Whether you're wealthy or you're middle income or you're poor, you're all going to wind up paying tax. When you raise taxes on part of society, you're raising taxes on all of them. It works out that way all the time.
And it doesn't necessarily mean that you're specifically paying more taxes, but you're paying the cost of it with the inflation. If you're raising the taxes that these corporations have to pay, well, they're just going to raise the price on you. You know, and now you have to pay more money, you know, so it doesn't end up working out well for the middle class Americans.
And what is inflation? Inflation is just another form of taxation. And they're controlling it by spending money like it's going out of style. By printing money, they're causing the prices of everything to go up. So I don't see how when you give away, all this money, we're going to, you know what, we'll take care of those loans for you, guy. Who's taking care of them?
Yeah.
All of us.
Yeah.
And which is, and what do we got to do? We got to print money, which causes the money to be worth less, which causes inflation, which it affects all of us. So what are some of the things that we can do to protect ourselves?
Yeah.
One of the things that we tout highly here, in many cases, not for everyone, but for those that it makes sense, is to do Roth conversions. Roth conversions, what does that mean? If you have money that's in a 401k or in an IRA, that money has never been taxed. When you do retirement planning, you're not just planning for the day you retire. You're planning for the next 20 to 30 years of that retirement.
Right.
So not all of your money is going to be used that day when you retire. It's going to be used over the course of your lifetime. So there's some money that's not even going to be touched for 10 years, 15 years, 20 years or longer. So if you look at money that's sitting in an IRA account or a 401k and you sit there and you go, okay, this money has never been taxed. Let's just take a number, $100,000 of it.
Okay.
Yeah. And you say, you know what, this $100,000 I'm probably not going to use for quite a while. If you look at the rule of 72, if your money averages 7.2%, it will double every 10 years. If it averages 10%, it will double every 7.2 years. So that $100,000 over the course of 14 to 20 years could quadruple. So if you keep it in that IRA, you never pay taxes on it, now you have $400,000 that you have to pay taxes on. Uncle Sam's going to come calling with those required minimum distributions that you have to take out. If you Roth convert that $100,000, which means that you pay the taxes on the $100,000 and you put it into a Roth IRA. Now you've paid that taxes on that $100,000. That $100,000 can still grow the same way, and over the next 14 to 20 years can quadruple and become $400,000. But now you've already paid taxes on $100,000. You have $400,000 tax-free dollars that you've only paid taxes on $100,000. That is considerably better than having to pay taxes on all $400,000.
Right.
And it works that way for so many folks.
Yeah, like we just had a couple come in. They were in their early 60s. They were looking to retire. They were done with work and they were ready to go.
Sure.
And, they like to travel, biking, camping, eating out. Like, those are some of the things that they wanted to do during their retirement that, they just didn't have as much time to do while they were working. They saved about $1 million for their investments and for their retirement and wanted to make sure that it could last them over the course of their retirement. They needed about $75,000 of income per year to come in from those investments.
Okay.
And we looked into their tax situation. We said, okay, well, what can we do to make sure that they have the income that they need and that they're paying the least amount in taxes that they have to? And we said, okay, well, by doing some of these Roth conversions and implementing some of our other tax planning strategies, we're able to show them how they could pay $530,000 less in taxes projected over the course of their lifetime.
Really?
Yeah, think about that, Heather. How much fun can people have with an extra $500,000 in their retirement coffers?
$500,000 is what some people, that amount alone is what they've saved, and that's what this couple's looking to save in taxes.
Just in taxes over the course of their lifetime. That's going to make a huge difference.
Yeah.
But that wasn't all that we were able to do for them. We were able to show them that by saving this money in taxes and setting up their portfolio the right way, we were able to show them how to increase the amount of income they could live on in their retirement. See, when they were working, they were spending $75,000 of income per year. They didn't know if they were going to be able to get that same amount of income, or if they were going to have to get a pay cut, or if they were going to be able to get a pay raise during their retirement. And we were able to show them by utilizing the portfolio the right way, they're able to get $115,000 of after-tax income each and every year for the rest of their life.
They had originally said that they needed $75,000. That's what they were planning for. And by moving some things around, you were able to show them how they could get $115,000 annually.
Yes.
Wow.
$40,000 more
Yeah.
each and every year for the rest of their life by setting up the portfolio the right way and utilizing the financial planning that's able to show them, are you going to be okay living on that more income? And we're able to show them with a 97% probability of success that they're going to be able to have that income and not have to worry about running out of money during their retirement.
Yeah.
Have that feeling that they know where they're at, they know what's doing well, what's not doing well, and have a plan that can show them what their retirement future looks like. So if you don't have an idea as to how much income you can live on for the rest of your life, you really want to know. You really want to see it outlined. How much income can you live on? In this couple's case, they could live on $40,000 more of after-tax income going up for inflation each year for the rest of their lives with the financial plan that we were able to draw up for them. So if you want to learn a little bit more about what does that look like for you, you need to go to abetterwayfinancial.com and click on the sign up now button so we can begin to have this conversation with you.
Thanks for listening to A Better Way Financial, the podcast with Frank and Frankie Guida. To learn more, visit abetterwayfinancial.com and join the Guidas for the radio show, A Better Way Financial, Saturdays at noon and Sundays at 12:30 on News Radio 790 WAEB.
By contacting us, we'll review aspects of your retirement portfolio to include suggestions about how best to utilize estate, tax, and retirement planning strategies and other financial services, or if changing management styles is appropriate for your specific needs and objectives. Exposure to ideas and financial vehicles discussed should not be considered investment advice or recommendations to buy or sell any financial vehicle. Past performance is not a guarantee of future results. Investments can fluctuate, and when redeemed may be worth more or less than when originally invested. A Better Way Financial is not affiliated with nor endorsed by the Social Security Administration or any other government agency. Annuity guarantees rely on the financial strength and claims-paying ability of the issuing insurance company. Any client experiences discussed during this show are unique to that client, and they are not meant to imply or suggest you will experience the same results. Advisory services offered through A Better Way Financial. Insurance offered through licensed professionals at A Better Way Financial. Pennsylvania Insurance License number 301779.